Hi there folks, it's Handmade by Shirley. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. I've come on just now to just do some, I've done some backgrounds this afternoon actually with one of my crafty ladies who comes on a Tuesday afternoon to me, and we've done some backgrounds together with some ink and some pixie powder type things, and we've just got lots of different backgrounds. There's some of them that didn't work as well, but I'm going to do, for this video, you'll see a separate video for doing these backgrounds. So as I say, I cut some nice autumn leaves out of this one because I didn't actually plan this, but these were the colours that came out of this one and made it look very autumnal. So this was the other half. So I'll be cutting that up as well. And then I did this one here, which was with alcohol inks and alcohol ink solution, that blending solution, excuse me, on multifarious paper this is. And then after that had dried, we added some silver gilding flakes to it, and then I cut it up into pieces, and I've already backed this one onto a piece of blue backing paper, and I've cut it into this shape in the middle, already stuck down onto a 5x7 card base. And then I've cut out some nice autumn leaves. So I had some dies, and I've cut some white ones out. I'm going to make this into a nice card, an alternative type card. And then I've got also this one which I used to cut out different leaves with the piece that I made, that was the browns, the yellows, the greens and the red colours. And I just already pre-die cut them, and I've still got some left, so I'll be able to make something else with that as well. So I've kind of made a design here. So there's a very large one which I cut out once, and it's got all the lovely autumnal colours there. And yeah, obviously we don't get as much green in autumn, but we still do, so that's worked out really well. And then I've just made a design here, so I've used 3 of the smaller leaves. I'm going to use at the corners diagonally, and then I've got this large leaf I'm going to pop in the middle, and then I'm going to heat emboss a sentiment to put in, and I've got this matte layer which is a bit of cork, and I've just cut that to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then our white square is 3 by 3, and I say the card base is 5 by 7. Could pop it like this as well as an idea, which would look quite nice too. So that would pop in the middle, and we'd have 3 leaves at each corner. Just trying to see what that looks like that, because obviously I had it square on. So just having a wee play about, and it's good to do this to kind of design your card fronts, and that looks quite nice too. So just doing a wee bit of design to see what looks nice and what might look better. Take this bigger one out, and yeah, that one's quite nice too. So my plan was to pop that in the middle and pop a sentiment across the front. So I think I quite like it like that. Now let's see again if we can just slightly change it to have it square on, to see which appeals most. That's the best thing to do. If it appeals to your eye, you know, 9 times out of 10 it's appealed to somebody else's eye as well. So go with what appeals and you're happy with, and that's the best way I think to put designs together. Pop this one over the top of there. So just trying to decide if, I think I prefer it square on, so we'll go for square on. So in the video before this one, you will see how I made these backgrounds, because I'm going to come on and do a techniques background. So you'll see how I made it, and then I just simply cut these out with add some leaf dies that are specific probably to autumn, because that's kind of nice autumn typed leaf, and I just cut them out several times, and I've got all these nice leaves. So we'll do that first. Do this one first. So as I say, this card is 5 by 7, and this is a piece of cork. That's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 squared, and then I've got the white piece, which is 3 by 3. Now, another thing that you can actually do as well, if you wanted, I do not have the pens on my desk, but I'm just going to get them, is do some splatter effect. Just get these to the side, and just so it's not so sparse, we can do some splatter effect on this white piece. So move everything else kind of out the way, and just find an alcohol pen, and just find a colour that you think, oh, that's nice, I'll try that, and just splatter it onto your card. Now I would use the brush end because we'll definitely get splatter. So I'm going to use this real red colour. I'm using and just give it a bit of a shake. I'm just going to give it a little bit. So use the brush end here and just tap it over your white piece of card, and you will see, if your settings are at 1000 or 1080p or 720p, you will see this. So there we go, that's that done. So it just gives it a wee bit of definition, and it's not as sparse against, you can probably just see that it's not as sparse against the white card, and you can probably notice that there. So I'm just going to glue these together now. So I'm just using wet glue to do this. Like so. So you should have a tiny little border all the way around. Just move it into place. That's better. And then that can go in the middle of your card. Now I'm going to use foam pads to lift this up a bit, because I want the leaves to be going underneath. Leaves that are going to go in the corners to be going underneath. So just use some foam pads to do this. Just make sure that's all stuck down at the corners. So just using some foam pads, just popping one in the middle, and I can cut this one in half actually. Popping one at each corner. Oh, that needs to come up slightly. Just a little bit there. One One in each corner and another one. There we go. And then we can make sure they're all down. And the reason why I'm popping these up is because, as I say, I'm going to put these smaller leaves in the corners. So just take your time to centre it. And I hope that's straight. Looks straightish anyway. And then we're going to add the leaf. So we're going to add the big leaf into the middle. And I'm going to do it at a slight angle. So I'm just using wet glue for it as well. I'm just going to do it at a slight angle so that the stalk is kind of going off to the right hand side. So just hold that down for a few seconds, like so, and then we can add our leaves that we're going to add. So what I was trying to do was, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these stems off because we put the foam pads on, it's not going to go right up to the centre, to the underneath, but we can still put them on right to the edge. So a couple here, and I just want to put a smaller one in that, so I'm going to snip that away as well. So snip that away. So I'll just bring some of these other leaves in that I've got extras because I might want to just use them as well, because I'm thinking that one's quite big. So if I pop this down with some wet glue, I'm just going to pop it near the bottom half because that's the bit that I want to glue down. I don't want to glue the whole thing down because I want it to look a bit realistic as well. So just hold those for a few seconds in place, like so. Okay, and then we're going to use this one as well. So I'm just going to cut that stalk off, and before I actually place it, I'm just going to pull that round, I think, too, because I think that looks quite nice. Let's see. Oh, throwing them away now. I think I'm going to add this one. This is the one I was looking for, I think. Was it? No, it wasn't. It was this one. So that will just go right in the corner, like so. So this one, I just want to add glue again near the bottom. Okay. And I want to pull that round a bit. Just slightly round. Just hold that in place as well. And then this one I've already cut off. But what I might do here is slightly lift the corner off that foam, pop this in place, just put a little bit in the centre, just slightly bring this up and just push it under, and then hold that down. Okay, so that's one corner. So remember, these things are kind of snippable. And then I want to do a similar thing here. So I want to do a bit more of the red in the middle. So I'm just going to snip away that stalk piece because I want it to kind of fit under there. That's fine. And I'm just going to do it down round the bottom here as well, because I want it to look like it's a leaf and I don't want it stuck flat. So the biggest one in the corner here, and you can manoeuvre it round slightly as well, so that's quite nice. And then let's look for this one. This is a nice colour, so we can just kind of pop that in place. Let's see what else I've got. Let's look for a couple of the smaller ones this time. So we can just pop these two in like that. So this at the bottom again. Just pop that in there and just hold it for a few seconds. So, and then this one, we can just take that off as well. Oh, sorry folks, the noise there. Let's take that stalk off, and then we're going to pop it just on there. So we just really need some glue onto the left hand side here, just to secure that in place. There we go. The glue will dry clear, so that should just disappear. And that's all I'm going to do at the minute. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to heat emboss a sentiment. So just pop the glue away for now, and then we can get to the next card as well. So I thought a nice band across here for a sentiment would be nice, or I could just have one stamped here. So got a couple of stamps here that I'm thinking of using. I've not decided which one. So these are Stampin' Up ones. This one's current and these two are not. But I'm not sure if any of these wordings are quite right for what I want to do. I've got a bit of glue stuck there. So I've got a wee glue eraser, which I can just take and just get rid of these bits of glue. So a glue eraser is very good thing to have in your box or your stash, whatever you want to call it. There we go, that's got rid of that. So I think I want to write celebrate, so I'm going to use the celebrate from this retired stamp called Happy Birthday to You. So I've got my block. So as I say, I can either pop it just on the corner here. So let's just do a piece on here, and we'll see what it looks like. So I'm going to do some heat embossing. Okay, and I was going to use gold because I thought that would be nice because of the colours. So I've got a little embossing buddy here. And I'm going to cover my strip in the embossing buddy, and that's just to take away any extra things that might stick to that part of the paper. And then I've got my sticky ink called Versamark. I'm just going to put that over the stamp, and I'm just going to stamp on there. And you won't be able to see it until I put the embossing powder on it, but it is definitely there. So just move that to the side. I've got a couple of pieces of paper here just to catch the embossing powder, because I do not know what I've done with my embossing friend, who is the little red tin that catches the embossing powder. It seems to have disappeared. So I've got this nice gold super fine embossing powder, and I've just poured that over, and then I just want to tap that off. And if there's any wee unwanted bits, just give it a flick. And well, I should have a brush in my tin. Do I? Because a brush is a good thing to have in your tin, but no, I don't have it today. Got a little brush, a little paint brush. Oh, I've got one in this tin. So a little paintbrush is a good thing to have to flick away any unwanted bits of embossing powder. Even though you've done, you know, you went round with your embossing body, you still can get stray bits. So there we go, I think that's fine. So what I need to do now is to put the embossing powder back into the tub for it. Take my heat tool out. So always do that. Don't wait unless you've got a huge table that you can push it away to the other side of your table. But I would still advise to always put it back and close the lid. Right, so we're just going to get my heat tool slightly warm. So my heat tool is not plugged in for some reason, and I've just bashed the camera, sorry people. I had switched the plug on, but I have not. So I'm back again. And I've just heat it up now. So just always give it a few seconds, a few minutes to heat up. And then you'll have less time to wait for it cooking the project. So I'm just, once you see it change, once you see it change, that's when it's ready. And I think that's us. So it's changed now and it's nice and shiny. So if you get this out of the way and you bring your project back, so I wanted to put it over there, but I need to cut it to size. So I could cut it by hand, but I'm going to use my trimmer because I think that would be easier to use my trimmer. So what I've done is I'll just pop that in, just cut a little strip off there, and then I want to turn it round and then just cut a strip off. Find the channel here, and the dark grey, if you're using this particular trimmer, is the cutting blade. The light grey is the scoring blade. We're trimming it, so we need the dark grey one. That's fine. And then I just want to trim it down a little bit here on that side, and the same here, just trim it slightly. And there you have your piece for the front of your card. So as I say, I could pop it here, which would look quite nice, but I did plan to put it over the top of my leaf. I couldn't think of the word there. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pop it up on some foam pads again, just to give it a wee bit of height. So just pop that out the way. And I've got some foam pads here, and I'm just going to put one there, probably just need two, on the back. And one there. Just pop that in the middle. So I'm lining it up with one of the lines on my grid board, and I'm just popping it on there, like so. So that's my first card. So I hope you like it. And you could give that to anybody for any occasion, because it does say celebrate, so it, you know, it could be any reason you're giving that. So I hope you like that. I quite like it myself, and it's very simple to do and very effective. So card number 2 is, as I say, it was the same thing. I did a background, and we added, although we didn't use the pixie powders for that, it was alcohol ink onto multifarious paper, and we added some alcohol ink solution, mixing solution to it as well. And then once this had all dried, we put some lovely gilding flakes and silver onto it, just to give it that effect. So I've cut a couple of bits out. This was one piece, but I cut it in half and cut the ends off because there was a lot of extra white that I didn't want.